Hello everyone. So the next part it will be about creating Navbar as your first part, as you're gonna create the first ever component for your project here. So in our project we're gonna be starting with Navbar, and that Navbar is going to be placed in a separate folder called components. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So this is the app.jsx file here, and all I had to do is just need to make sure I must be able to create a new folder called how do you say, just say new folder, just say call it components. Okay, and once you just create a file called component, just create a new file called navbar.jsx. okay, so in this case, I'll have to place the functional components, for example, RAFCE. So in this case, navbar is already being created like this. And the next thing is that I also must be make it in the form of how do you say? To make sure I need to export this particular file here. So in this case, I must place index.js, and in this case, I must be placing export navbar. And navbar is coming from /navbar and export navbar like this. And as you can see, I must be placing it like this here. Like this need to be having open and closing curly braces like this. And then you have already exported navbar here. And the next thing is that we should be able to you must be able to read what the navbar content which we need here. We must be able to see it directly inside app.jsx. And first of all, we need to import navbar coming from components like this. And as you can see here, the next thing I must be able to do is that I must be making sure that I call the component called navbar in my app.jsx. So in this case, I'll be making it like navbar like this, and I'll be having a self-closing it's a component, a self-closing tag. Okay, and it's a tag, by the way. So of course, since I'm using a JSX, I need to be like wrapped all the components in one single div. So I shouldn't be having more than one main div. So it must be placing it like this. Okay, so just make sure you indent it. Just make it like this, and just click on save all. Let me just save it everything, and there you go. Right now you are having a simple yet nothing, because this is just navbar here, because you are not actually doing anything here. Like this case, you can see here, you happen to have navbar here. So but that we need to create navbar that must be able to have good design, that we're gonna use it for our project. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So first of all, I'll be making sure inside my assets I'll be having all the assets that are required. So in this case, I must be having assets here. Inside assets, I'll be having a couple of icons.svg. So those are the ones I'll be using it throughout this entire project. So you can actually get this particular assets folder in the source code that I've provided. You can just get it directly from there, and you are able to just copy and just paste it inside your project. That will be really convenient. That's the best way, as you can see here, because you must be able to import all these assets directly inside your app.jsx and to your rest of your components as well. So I would like to import in my navbar, I would like to import a certain number of assets. For example, import, in this case, I would like to import certain svg files like menu, close, and all this actually is coming from, of course logo should be there also. All this actually coming from, you need to put place from, and just state the location, the path of your folder called assets. So this is how you are able to call all this, just to make sure you happen to have all this logo, menu, and close SVGs. That will be really perfectly can be used. Okay, so the next thing is that I must be making sure that I will be able to have access to creating the I can always get started with creating the navbar already. So in this case, I'll be having the main tag here. Inside the main tag will be the one that I'll be placing. I'll be having the main main styling to have that particular navbar rectangular shape like this. So just to form a rectangular shaped navigation bar space. For example, I need to make sure I place W screen, which will take the whole width of the screen, and also H is basically height. The height is gonna be 80 pixels, just to have a certain amount of height, just to give like a reference. I mean, just to give like quite an amount of height. And also the next thing is that I'll be making the Z index to be, the Z index to be 10, and the background is going to be white, so BG white. And the next thing that I'll be placing it, because it's a navbar, I don't want it to be moving anywhere, so it's going to be fixed. And once it's fixed, I'll be I would like to have some shadow, so drop shadow. And also I would like to have the shadow to be LG. And of course you can actually get all this stuff coming directly from how do you say, Tailwind here. As you can see, I can actually look up for what, let's say if you're looking for shadow, you can have a couple of shadow styling here. This is the CSS, and this is the class. You can just literally just translate into which class will be perfectly reflects the particular CSS styling code. So yeah, you are able to directly access it from here also. And as you can see, something is missing here, and the reason is because there needs to be a closing quotation, something like that. Okay, so let's go back to our main code here, navbar, and let's click on save. Sorry, not here, but it's actually save. I will be saving here. And as you can see here, you are able to have a rectangular, which is just happen to have a shadow here, and that's it. There's nothing much to it, because this is the navigation screen that we would be using. And also let's make another class which is inside here. It's going to be another div section like this. Okay, and this inside this div is going to be which I'll be placing the container. So the container will be having a place where we're gonna fit inside a particular container that's going to be used as a reference to make sure we are actually placing it all the components within a particular container, so that we don't actually go beyond a particular container. So in this case, the container is going to be flexed. It's going to be arranged in a way called flexed. Flex justify between. Okay. As you can see, I've used flex justify between styling here, and let's see what does it means. If I go to CSS, Tailwind, as you can see here, justify content between is actually you're making all this how to say, like arranged all this div section to be arranged in a way that are evenly distributed. For example, as you can see, justify between is the one that I've chosen. So let's go to this justify between, which is here, by the way. As you can see, I would like to have three divs. For example, I'd like to have a logo here and some menu here, navigation menu like home, services, about us, and at the end here I'd like to place login and sign up buttons, so that I'd like to place three separate divs, so that way we're able to arrange them properly. So that's why I used flex justify, just like this here, just like this particular code here. As you can see, all these three divs actually placed as far as they can actually go, and as you can see, there's no gap that they have left at these two ends. So that's what I wanted to use. So the first div I like to use here, and yeah, before that, let me just add fully finish this particular code for just to have this particular arrangement. So I like to make all the items to be centered, as in just to center just inside their designated space, and the width is going to be full, height is going to be full, because we have already set the maximum height already. And of course, since we have not set the maximum width, so we're going to make max width. It's going to be, I will be placing a custom max width. For example, 1240 pixels will be the maximum width for container, and so anything beyond this particular pixels here, it won't actually we won't be having actually going anywhere beyond this particular width here. The next thing is I like to place margin auto just to make sure everything is centered, and that's it. Yeah, I think this is just the first. This is just to make the container, and inside the container we'll be having 3 more divs. So those 3 more divs, the 3 divs is the one that we're gonna place it in this particular manner, justify between style. Okay, so the first div. Okay, let me just place it all. Let me just call all those 3 here. Like, let me just place it in between a bit. Okay, I'll copy this, paste it like this, paste it like this. So that's 3 divs here, because 3 so that I'll be able to make something like this. And inside the first div I'll be placing the logo. Yeah, so inside the logo I'll be making sure I just need to have some class name before that. So the class name is going to be okay, I think I won't be needing a class name for this because this is already a logo, just a logo like this. So inside this div, the first div here, I like to call of course it's going to be a div image class name. Okay, this class name is going to be having flags, and it's going to be items center, because I have to make this to be centered. Okay, and the next thing is that I have to call an image folder, image tag, sorry, image file. That image will be calling this particular source, which is coming directly from this logo. I've been calling it directly from the assets folder. And the next thing is that, of course, since it's a image, I need to be having alt slash like to have the quotation mark logo, and of course there's going to be some class name for this also. So that class name is going to be for small screens, for small size screen, I like to have this particular logo to be margin left about like 10 pixels, about 10. And for for smaller logo, for smaller screen sizes, I'll be making it margin left 10 also, margin left 10. And next thing is that I'll be also making for medium sized screens, I'll be making it about like let me just put margin left 3. And also for I think that's it. It's just 3 different sizes. And next thing is opacity. I'm just going to make it a bit more lighter to about like 55%. And the next thing is I have to make the width to become fully expanded, and the height is going to be 25 pixels. Okay, something like this. Okay, so as you can see here, I like to make sure this particular image tag is closed also. So just make sure you are able to close this. Okay, now let's try to save this. Okay, and there you go. Now you happen to have that logo created like this. Okay, so as you can see here, let me just open this thing. As you can see, it's actually not it's actually within the particular container that we have set. Okay, this is the container that we have set. The container is actually like just fills half of the space, and all the other half is just blank here. Okay, so next thing, let's create more if there's 2 more things we need to do. For example, let's add. Okay, so now we have already finished with completing the first div, which is the logo here. Let's go to the next div here. As you can see, we have 2 more divs here we are able to use. So inside the second div, let's make a couple of like a menu, couple of menu that are actually listed in a horizontal way. So in this case, I have to call div class, and the class name is going to be again flex items, as usual, items center. Okay, and of course inside here I'm going to be having a list. So we list, in order to use a list, we'll be using ul followed by li as usual. So ul li will be the most common thing to be used when you are making a list like this. So in this case, class name is going to be it won't be visible when you're using a mobile. So in this case, I have to put hidden by default, and only when medium sized screens and above is opened, is being used, we can actually use flex. And by having flex means you're just able to you're just calling it you're just making it visible. Okay, so in this case I'll have to have a couple of list, for example home, and then let's just place like 5 of them. Second one will be called about, and let's go to third one. Third one is actually support. Then let's go to the fourth one, is actually called platform. Let's go to the pricing. Okay, so in this case we are able to just make a simple menu bar like this. So let's click save. So you can see here this particular navbar, this particular menu is not actually have even enough of space here, and there's a reason why, because we have not placed that particular code for making it evenly distributed between them. So what I would also like to do, I have to go to my styling here. Okay, I would like to go to my index.css here, which we have just commented most of the files, most of the codes here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste this particular new, new set of lines of code, just to make sure we are able to style certain properties. For example, as you can see, I have included ULI and UL here, and you can actually directly access it from my source code that I've provided. Just a bunch of CSS lines of code, and let's click on save. And there you go, you are able to see this particular menu to be arranged in a way to have padding around them, to have around 4 in between them. So I just add padding 4 in every single li, or you can just directly make that particular changes that you have just made directly to every single li tag here. But it will be really I would say really hardship. It's going to be really hard for you. So what I did, I just directly did something like this. Okay, so the next thing is that since you have already done this particular which is already done the second part, now let's move on to the third one here. In this case, this is the second one, by the way. So I'll delete the second one. Now let's go to the third one. So in this third one, we'll be having the the third container, third group, where we'll be placing login and sign up button. So it's just 2 buttons here I'll be placing. So in this case, let's click here. In this case, I will have class name, and that class name will be having, of course, it's going to be hidden when it's not in mobile phone. Only when it will be visible when you are not using mobile. So MD. So MD means mobile. When you're using medium sized screens and above, and it's going to be flex. And in small medium sizes, I'll be making it margin right. Margin right is basically meant for having give some like a push from your right hand side, about like 10 pixels, and for medium sized screens also I'll be having margin right of 10. And the next thing is I'll be placing those 2 buttons. So in this case, button. Okay, button is going to be, the first one is going to be login, and the second button is going to be let me just call it this. Put it here. Second button is going to be sign up. Okay, let's click save, and there you go. But then, as you can see, these 2 buttons doesn't happen to have any size, any styling here, not being even. So let's add some styling by having some class name like this. Inside the class name, I'll be having border, and it's going to be none, because I can still see a border here. So I don't want to see any borders. And next thing is BG transparent, because for login I have to keep it different from sign up. So in that way we're able to distinguish between those 2 buttons. So BG transparent. And the next thing is text black, because you can see that now the text is white, so I don't want it to be invisible when the background is same as color as the foreground. And the margin right, I would like to give around like 4, because I don't want it to be very close to each other. So as you can see, when I click save, you're able to see this login button here. And the next thing is I have to do the same different styling for sign up button. So in the sign up button, I'll be having px of 8. Okay, like padding x-axis, like padding on my right hand side, left hand side, and also padding of y-axis. I like to give around like 3, so that I'll be having more space at the top, at the bottom. and something like this. So as you can see, this is just simple button style. So I think that's it for the third column here. And also, let's say the next thing I would like to have is that for mobile screens, when we make our screen to be very small, I like to have like an hamburger menu here. So a hamburger menu will be really important when it comes to when you're using mobile screen. Okay, so like that's the thing I like to do on the next one. So in this case, I like to have another div. So I'm gonna make it a div like this. Okay, inside this div, I'll be calling. It's gonna be a class name. It's going to be only on medium-sized screens and above. I like to make it invisible, so it's going to be hidden when I'm using not my mobile screens. And in this case, I like to have a particular image called source. Okay, inside this source, I'll be calling a dynamic name called menu. Okay, this menu is going to be having a alt tag called menu. Okay, so it's gonna be that's it, and I have to have some class name. Okay, inside the class name I'll be having some styling for width. The width of it gonna be 28 pixels, and yep, something like this. And the next is gonna be height of this is gonna be around like same 28 pixels as well. And the next thing is I like to make it object contain, and it's going to be margin right 10 also. And yeah, that's it. Let's close this tag and let's click save, and there you go. Now you have a good looking hamburger menu. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is that when we click on hamburger menu, there must be a list of menus that should pop up whenever we click on this particular button here. So let's create that particular menu here. This particular menu will be having the same content like how it has in between inside in the center here. So the next thing is that let's create some just like this where it only toggles or opens only when we click on this particular button. So let's create like an UL like this, and let's call it class name. This class name will be having like a dynamic class, something like this, and make sure you have to have a certain rule for it. For example, we would like to show this particular this particular list. For example, let me just open this, make it something like this list, and yeah, same like this. By the way, I'm just gonna copy and just paste it like here. And what I would like to do here is that I like to make all of this to be in one box like this. As you can see, you don't happen to see because as you can see, this class name is not filled, so we shouldn't be making it like this. So let's click on save. And as you can see here, it's not how it's supposed to look like. It should be it shouldn't be like bothering the whole list. So I like to make this particular class name to be making it absolute. Okay, now let's make it like this. So save. So as you can see, it's not actually bothering the navbar at all, and that's the reason why I've used absolute. And the next thing I have to use actually, I have to make it I have to make this thing to be having a background as white. Okay, and white background, and of course I will be making that particular background to have full width of the screen size, something like this. And of course, it's going to be I will give some padding of x-axis of y, so that it actually have some space in your left hand side. And the next thing is when we are in bigger screens, for example MD, it should be hidden. Okay, because currently it won't be hidden because it's still in mobile screen size. So that's why you are able to see it. Okay, so the next thing is that we also need to have two more buttons. Okay, yeah, the two more buttons actually coming directly from here. As you can see, we happen to have these two buttons. These two buttons will be having yeah, so let's make a separate div for these two separate buttons. Okay, so just copy these two separate buttons and just directly paste it inside here. And yeah, let's make it a bit more to the right hand side. Let's click save, and as you can see here, these two buttons are being placed here. So there is a way we can actually make it more presentable rather than this. And as you can see here, you don't actually find, we're only seeing support, and you don't find about and home buttons are actually showing up here. So what I would like to do here is that I want to make this particular div to be having a class name first, for example flex, and it's going to be flex call. Okay, flex column is basically, it's like you're able to arrange whatever elements you find it here in a column method, arrange in a single column, and margin y-axis to be 4. So this is how you're able to sort it. So as you can see, you're able to make it something like this, by the way. And let's give it a check. What does flex call even means? Just to have some initial idea what does it means. Let's go to search, just say flex call. So as you can see, it just arranges in one column, in a single column, something like that. And yeah, that's it. Let's go back to our mobile screen. And yeah, as you can see here, everything is we have not saved this particular styling, which is actually will be useful when you're using yeah, as you can see here, there's one more thing that we should be adding for login, especially for login, which is not margin right, which this is meant for this. We need to delete margin right, and so once we delete it, it actually becomes centers. What we like to have is that we like to have margin bottom of 4, so that it's able to have a to be separated from the from this button. And next thing is that I like to have a padding y-axis of 3. Okay, and also I like to have padding of x-axis of 8. Okay, I think that's it. And I would also like to change some certain, for example, yeah, as you can see, I've placed border none, right? I'm going to remove border 9 so that you'll be able to look nice and something like this. And once we're able to remove the border background transparent, black text, margin bottom, and we are good to go with the buttons here. But we still have one more problem, which is, as you can see here, this whole thing is actually not displayed properly. So let's make it display properly. So now, as you can see here, there's a problem with actually the placing of the hamburger menu. So what we like to do is that we like to take this particular space that we have made it for this particular menu. So what you're going to do, we're just going to just cut it, and we're going to place it below this particular container that we have set. So it's going to be one div below. So but then it's still going to be within the main div. So yeah, this I will place it below here. So let's like make it indent to this here. Just like to click save, and yeah, just as you can see now it's working, by the way, working as in like we are able to make it visible when you are actually opening in your mobile. This is how your menu should look like. And then the next thing is that I must be able to close this when I don't want it to look at. For example, now when I click on hamburger menu, it should pop up, and when I unclick that particular, when I click it again to close it, I would like to have this menu to be disappeared. So that's how I would like to make it. It's like more like a toggle, so like toggle to show and toggle to off. So that's what I would like to do now. So toggle is like basically we're actually keeping track of a variable's status, like true or false. In this case, what we can do that we can apply a state. For example, toggle. Let's make a state called toggle. Called toggle. So not to make use of use state. Like state, you need to make sure we import use state along with our React. For example, use state, something like this. And once we have already imported use state, next let's go to our navbar here, just above the return return function right here. What you're gonna do here, we're just gonna say const I mean not here, here const, and we're gonna have the square bracket, and we're gonna call I mean the element to keep track of the positive, I mean is it true or false for toggle. We're gonna just call it toggle. Okay, so I will make the set function called set toggle, and I have to make a use state function initialization like use state, something like this, and initially it's going to be false. This particular toggle is going to be false, and when I click, so when the this particular what do you say toggle is actually false, I wouldn't like to show this. So only when the toggle is shown, then only I would like to show this. So I like to have a particular dynamic class name for this. For example, I like to make it using curly braces, and inside curly braces I'll be having a, how do you say, like only when this toggle is true, and I would like to have this only when toggle is true, then I would like to show this. Okay, when the toggle is false, I would like to have this to be hidden, right? I mean not like this, but in a class sense, something like this. So as you can see, this is not, we should using yeah, this particular ternary operator. So this ternary operator will make sure when your toggle is true, then you should show this particular element, and when toggle is false, I need to make sure it is hidden. Let's click on save. So as you know, the toggle is at the moment is actually false. What you can also do, let's make it true. So I have to make it, I have to make the state of toggle to be true. Okay, as you can see, when I make it true, it's not showing up because as you can see here, by making it on, I'm just like making the toggle to show only this part here. As you can see here, when it's true, when yeah, I think we don't need to have this this thing here. Sorry about that. So what you're gonna do, we can just gonna save it here. Only when toggle is true, I would like to show this. And if I make the toggle to become false, okay, as you can see here, now it's not there because it's false. So it's basically, it's like false, like I like to turn it off. And the next thing is that I would like to make something that is like open and close the particular menu pop-up or something like that, by having a on-click function where I'll be able to click on this and to change the state. So I have to have like a on-click on top of this particular hamburger menu. So as you can see, we have this hamburger menu which is here. So what I'll do here, whenever I click on this image, this particular image, example this class name, I'll have to have this like an on-click function, and of course inside this on-click function, I'll be having handle click function. So I'll have to call this and go to the main yeah, base below this set state. I have to call this particular handle constant, constant handle click like this, and it's going to be having a function like this, an arrow function where you'll be able to set toggle, and I'll be able to set the value of the initial, like make the opposite of the initial value of the toggle. In this case, I have to make it like opposite of toggle, something like this. Okay, this will only happen when I click on this particular hamburger menu. Okay, now let's click on save. Okay, now already saved. Let's click on hamburger menu, and there you go. This is how we're able to make it run like this. And the next thing is that let's make this particular make use of this particular close icon. So close icon will be used in this case. For example, I'd like to make this close icon to be replaced when, as you can see here, I like to make when the state is open, when the toggle is true, I would like to have this to be shown. So that way we are able to make it menu. What if it's not? What if you like to close it? So hence we need to make sure we use the appropriate icons to represent your current current button, so that we're able to toggle between close and opening that particular pop-up of the navigation menu. So in this case, I like to have this particular menu. Instead of source, this I go inside source, and I have to put toggle. So whenever toggle is true, I like to have whenever toggle is true, I would like to have menu. Okay, actually no, I think it's the opposite way. Whenever toggle is not true, I would like to have the menu to be not true, and it's going to be opposite. So it's going to be, usually it's going to be set as false, because false is what we're going to be having, and as you can see, I'll be having, when it's not true, I'll be having close, yeah, something like this. Okay, so initially it's going to be false, and now right now, as you can see here, right now it's closed, and I have already saved it. Now let's click on this particular button, and there you go. Now the button has already changed to close icon here, and yeah, I think that's it. That's how it should be. It should look like. As you can see here, the whole navbar is already done. It's already like perfectly made, including the responsive mobile responsiveness. And as you can see here, this hamburger menu only works when the screen size is small, and also you're able to make use of this particular hamburger menu icon, so that you're able to toggle between, you can turn on and off this particular like navigation screen here. So let's open this up, and as you can see, it won't be showing inside your big screen, but it'll only be showing in your small screens. Okay, and that's it. That's the first part we have just covered, which is just navigation bar, and I hope you're able to follow all the way up till here. And let's continue on the next one.